You might think that you keep overeating at night because you have no willpower or because there's something wrong with you. But what if I told you that it may have absolutely nothing to do with willpower or even food? In this video, I'm going to tell you the 4 science-backed reasons why you might be overeating at night even when you're not hungry. And make sure you stay until the end of the video because the last 2 reasons are things that I've never heard anyone else talk about. And by the way, I've created a free craving tool to help you manage your cravings and make it less likely for you to overeat. So it's going to be really useful if you want to get it. The link is just in the description down below. So if you're overeating at night even when you're not hungry, it might be because your brain has been wired to seek food as a source of dopamine. So let me just explain this by giving you an example, okay? So back when I was a uni student, I was constantly stressed, like all day, every day. And what kind of thoughts would I be having? I'll be like, oh my gosh, I have 4 assignments to work on, and then I have 9 lecture notes to catch up on. Oh, I need to do my laundry before it piles up too much. Oh, I still need to return that package that I got 27 days ago. Oh my gosh, I need to think about what I want to eat for dinner tonight. And that was just overwhelming me and actually paralyzing me, so that I just ended up procrastinating on everything, and I ended up like finding myself in my bedroom just like shoveling down a pack of cookies down my throat. And at first I just thought like it was a bad habit, but the more I learned about the psychology of food, I started to realize that it's actually not about the food at all. It's not about, you know, me not having self-control or me not having any willpower to avoid overeating, but it's because of the way that I was wiring my brain. The truth is, I learned that I wasn't actually craving the food itself. I was actually craving the feeling of comfort and safety that I got from eating. It activates our sympathetic nervous system, our fight or flight response. When you get all of these things that are stressing you out and overwhelming you. And so what happens when you're in that fight or flight response is that you will turn to something that will give you an immediate relief, an immediate pleasure. And so that is what food does to us. It increases our dopamines, and then we associate that food with relief, with safety, with comfort. So if you can relate to this, I want you to know that you're not weak. You're just human. In fact, research actually shows that stress, depression, anxiety, loneliness, even just feelings of being upset can all lead to overeating. Why? It's because food becomes our escape from those negative emotions. But if you want to fix this, then your goal shouldn't be to try to get rid of your negative emotions, because that's really unrealistic. Like, things are gonna stress us out throughout the day. What we can control is how we manage that. So finding things to do like journaling, going for a walk, or doing some breathing exercises. Find ways to regulate those negative emotions without immediately turning to food. But it's not just how you feel, it's also what you believe that can drive you to overeat at night. So have you ever thought to yourself, oh, I can't sleep unless I eat something? If you believe that you need food in order to go to sleep, then that belief itself can drive you to overeat at night even when you're not hungry, and even if it's not true. And so what's happening is that every time you have this thought, your body is getting anxious. And then what you do, you just eat in order to control and get rid of that anxiety, because you don't want to keep thinking, oh, I can't fall asleep, I can't fall asleep. So what do? You just go and eat just to get rid of that. And what happens when you keep doing that over time is you just reinforce that belief that you have in your head. But here's the really interesting part that I learned from doing hours of my own research. So this belief that I can't sleep unless I eat something is a very real and recognized trait of people who have night eating syndrome. Night eating syndrome is actually a type of ED where people eat a huge amount of food after dinner, like specifically at least 25% of their daily calories after dinner, and this can include getting up in the middle of the night to eat. If this sounds like something you might have, definitely keep watching because I'm going to talk about other things that could be contributing to it as well. But if you are someone who finds yourself having this belief in your head that you can't go to sleep unless you eat something, then just know that just because something is a thought doesn't mean you have to make it true. Just because your brain thinks you need it doesn't mean that your body actually does. But the good news is that you can 100% change your beliefs and change the way you think. You can decide to choose to not make a thought mean anything, and meditation can help a lot with this. But what if you've already worked on managing your emotions and changing your beliefs, but you still find yourself overeating at night? Well, now we have to look at something deeper, something that's going on inside your body, specifically your hormones. When researchers have looked at people who overeat at night and people who have night eating syndrome, they found some really important things about their hormones. They found 3 hormones in particular that were a bit out of balance compared to normal people. So the first one is melatonin is lower at night than usual. So melatonin is the hormone that helps you sleep, and because it's low at night, your brain doesn't get that same power down signal that it needs, so it becomes harder for people to fall asleep, and then it becomes easier to eat. And then the second one is leptin, which is the hormone that signals to your body that you are full and satisfied, and this also tends to be lower. And so what this means is that you're not feeling satisfied even after you've just eaten a whole meal. And then the third hormone is cortisol, which is the stress hormone. Now this one tends to be higher in these people, and this can keep your brain activated at night and drive you more towards food for comfort and energy. So if you are someone who struggles with overeating specifically at night and you have night eating syndrome, then it's not because you're lazy or you have a lack of willpower or you just don't have any control. It may be because your internal signals, your hormones are just out of balance and your body is not knowing what to do at what time. So in order to address this, you need to make sure that your foundations are in check. So you need to be getting at least 8 hours of sleep. Don't skip any meals, okay? Regulate your eating pattern. Have 3 meals a day. Come on, don't be skipping meals now. And you're trying to manage your stress levels as best as you can. Because once you start to work with your body and not against it, then that's when you'll start to regulate your hormones. You'll reconnect with your true hunger cues again, and then that will make it less likely for you to overeat at night, even if you're not hungry. So yes, hormones definitely play a huge role, but have you ever considered that your circadian rhythm and your specific chronotype can be what's driving you to overeat more at night? So let me just explain to you why this matters, okay? So our circadian rhythm is our body's internal 24-hour clock. It basically just signals to us when we need to wake up and when we need to go to bed. And it's influenced by several different environmental cues. So the biggest thing that naturally influences our circadian rhythm is how light and dark it is outside. But did you know that the timing of our meals can also influence our circadian rhythm? But here's where it gets really interesting, okay? So I bet you've heard of the terms night owl and early bird. Well, this is not just something that's made up. Like, researchers have actually studied this a lot, and they call it the morning chronotype and evening chronotype. It's basically what some people call your sleep personality. Some studies show that evening chronotypes or night owls had later meal times, skipped breakfast more often, had less nutritious meals overall, and they also ate a lot of their calories before bedtime. And what's really interesting as well is that people who have night eating syndrome and BED are also more likely to be evening chronotypes. So if you have this pattern of eating a lot in the evening, like close to bedtime, then it can make it harder for you to fall asleep because your body is trying to use up energy in order to digest that food. So then this delays your circadian rhythm and can reinforce this evening chronotype even more. So it can be pretty hard to get out of this cycle if your circadian rhythm has been synchronized this way for a long time. So if you think that you're a night owl, before you just think that you're screwed and there's no hope for you, first of all, you might not even be a night owl. In fact, most people actually aren't early birds or night owls. Most people fall somewhere in between, and that's me as well. But if you want to know what your actual chronotype is, comment questionnaire down in the comments below, and I'll send you a link to the validated questionnaire that the researchers used. So if you really are an evening chronotype, or you just tend to overeat a lot in the evenings anyway, then while it may not be possible to fully change your genetic chronotype, you can shift the behaviors and patterns that are reinforcing late night eating. So here are just a few tips of what you can do. Number one, avoid skipping breakfast, because research shows that people who skip breakfast are more likely to get a bigger appetite and more cravings later on during the day or later on in the evening, and so that can make it more likely for you to eat more at night. Tip number two is to have regular meal times. Don't just go eating at like the most random times throughout the day, okay? Like, I'm all for intuitive eating, but there's actually the benefit of regulating your meal patterns, because that regulates your hunger hormones as well. And if you keep your meal patterns regular, your brain sort of starts to know when it can expect food, and it can make it less likely for you to eat on impulse. Tip number three, if you're a night owl, is to just try to go to bed like 30 or 60 minutes earlier. You don't have to make such huge drastic changes. Like, if you're the type of person who always wakes up at like 11, then you don't want to just be like, okay, I'm gonna wake up at 5:30 tomorrow. No, like, do small changes at a time, and like slowly, get into the habit of doing that, and then your body will start to get used to it. So I really hope that all of these things that I've just talked about have shown you that if you're someone who tends to overeat at night, it's not because you have a lack of willpower, a lack of self-control, or because there's something wrong with you. It's because there could be these emotional and psychological and biological reasons behind why you are overeating at night, even if you're not hungry. So don't forget, you can get completely free access to my craving tool, which is also going to help you manage this. If you've made it this far, then let me know in the comments what resonated with you, and you're definitely gonna want to watch my video where I broke down exactly why you overeat and how to stop. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.